Whether you choose something more traditional or scary this Halloween, know that there are lots of choices for costumes. Roop Dosanjh in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine. Well, Francesca, Councillor Linda Hepner said the land will be used for something, but the exact plans have not been laid out. She hopes the city will get some kind of project happening soon. However, the infrastructure is expensive to develop as it's been sitting there for 10 years. As I mentioned in my story, although the property is in a very remote area of South Surrey, it would be ideal for some kind of large-scale development. Hepner is pessimistic anything will be developed there in the near future, but says further attempts to have a casino will be dissolved. Back to you.
Getting British Columbians to the voting stations is more than just knocking on doors and debates. Social media has become a way for individual candidates to get their message across to the masses.
It all depends on how it's used, and is it used to misinform? Is it used to disinform? Is it used to inform?
A friend of mine basically on Facebook just commented on how disappointing it is to hear that people weren't planning to vote. And so his comment really kind of encouraged me to remember the day and to really make the kind of effort I need to make in order to come out and vote.
Local political candidates are using social media as a way to reach voters.
If you didn't have a social media presence, I'm not sure what other ways you could reach voters other than the old-fashioned ways. I mean, as we saw in the States with Barack Obama, you have to find new ways to reach voters.
In an effort to get people to vote, Elections BC has created an app. From there, you can find out where to vote as well as who the candidates are. But the app is not available on the App Store. You need to go to the Elections BC website and click a link from there.
The Liberals are second to the NDP as parties actively using social media in their campaign strategy.
It'll be an interesting night tonight, just to see what the numbers will be like. I'm hopeful for a much bigger jump than what we had in 2009, but we'll find out tonight.
Roop Dosanjh in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
Anthony Ast may look like your typical 17-year-old with a sweet tooth, but these candy bars aren't for satisfying a craving. They could save his life. Ast was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 6.
I have to monitor quite a bit, and I have to check quite often my blood sugars and do insulin shots and things like that. And if I'm lower, I always have to have a juice or a cookie or something on hand just in case.
And that is something Coach Don Hay has to think about every time Ast takes the ice. It's not just Hay. Ast's teammates also have to know what to look for.
We've made it aware to the other players in the dressing room and on the road that they have to kind of keep an eye on Anthony, especially his roommate on the road.
Ast checks his blood with this insulin kit 15 to 20 times a day on game days. Big games equals big stress, and that can affect his blood sugar levels and his on-ice performance.
It's always before a game, it's always tends to be higher because my adrenaline is pumping through my body, and that does have a factor in my blood sugars being higher. I tend to be sluggish, or my reactions might be too quick and I may lose the puck.
But Ast doesn't need to look far for inspiration. NHL Hall of Famer Bobby Clarke also has diabetes and was once told he would never play professional hockey.
He would pave the way for diabetic hockey players like myself for allowing us to continue on with our dreams, so he was kind of my role model growing up.
Ast has never let the challenges of having diabetes get in the way, and he's not going to start now. The 17-year-old hopes this year is his year. Roop Dosanjh, CBC News, Vancouver. Here at Pacific Assistance Dog Society in Burnaby, these puppies are bred and trained to change people's lives. They will soon be trained to help people with disabilities.
Is anyone else's puppy still howling during the day?
And part of that training is getting used to everyday life with volunteers called puppy raisers. But that job comes with a lot of responsibilities.
Rub your hands along their back. They need to be able to take the puppy to work, to school, to appointments, to the movies, to restaurants, wherever they go, because we want the puppies to be socialized in all areas where people go. So there's lots of guidelines around how to raise a puppy for PADS, and we will help people learn all those guidelines through the puppy classes.
During one of the puppy training classes, puppy raisers told us why they do it and some challenges they face.
Good girl.
Having, again, that little ball of fur that doesn't respond to anything outside of bodily needs, and to take it to a dog that will respond to you, and a dog that will eventually go on to help others, it's just so rewarding.
The training is pretty much all day, because anything that they do throughout the day, anything we experience throughout the day, anywhere we go during the day, the puppy has to be trained as we go. I guess that's the challenge, is trying to get through the day with the puppy with you all the time.
PADS mostly uses Labrador and Golden Retrievers. Puppy raisers keep the puppies until they're about 14 months of age, when they return to PADS to get advanced training.
Because we just want to make sure the puppy's comfortable with it. Some people are very worried that they're going to be extremely attached to the puppy and it'll be really heartbreak to give it back. And what we've heard from other people is that it's extremely hard, but it's so rewarding when the dog is placed with someone or when it goes to its final home.
Know that it's going to help someone with a disability, going to a good home, making a difference in someone's life, and that's what's going to make it a little bit easier when you have to keep them up.
Got his puppy teeth right now.
For anyone wanting to become a puppy raiser, Janine and Ty have this message.
Seeing him, closing doors, opening doors for the client with the disability, picking up things that he drops, it's just warms my heart.
For all the sleepless nights and the other things that you have to clean up that you shouldn't talk about, it's so worth it.
These amazing dogs are just waiting to give their partners a new leash on life. At PADS in Burnaby, I'm Ruth Dosange for Go Vancouver.
Good evening, I'm Ruth Dosange with a quick sports break. The bad news continues for hockey fans. The NHL has cancelled the rest of the preseason. The next date to circle on your calendar, October 11th. That is supposed to be opening night. The two sides are expected back at the negotiating table Friday. Regular officials will be on the field tonight when the Baltimore Ravens host the Cleveland Browns. The NFL and Officials Union agreed to a new 8-year agreement last night. The league had used replacement officials for the first 3 weeks of the regular season.